Well, ever since the recession, our workforce has changed, and so has the communications world. In part 3 of our series, we are calling Tech Trends. We will hear how consumer products and other factors continue to impact the business world. Joining me this morning once again is Stephen Beamish from Mitel. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, you as well.
All right, so you shared some really great information with us the last time you were here, and I think it really is important to address this because we really are trying to adjust to this whole changing workforce, right?
Yeah. Well, and its prevalence of mobile devices was really critical to this because everybody, typically, most people have a mobile device.
What did you ask me right before we went on?
Well,
does your son have a phone?
Yeah, exactly.
My 10-year-old, and I had to reluctantly get him a phone. And you're right, everybody
and
has
now he
a
can't
phone.
do without it.
Now he can't do without it.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So, businesses are learning that, these mobile phones are becoming a big part of the culture. So their first reaction is, how can I take advantage of that? And whenever they want to take advantage of that, it typically benefits the end user. So we're seeing more of a prevalence of those devices now into the workforce.
Very interesting. I think another big issue here is how consumer products are being used for business.
Yeah, well, so if you think about it, there's, we're going to talk about this later as well, like tablets and things like that. And so what you really want is, the term is called first contact resolution. When you call someone, you want to get them on the first call.
That's right.
You don't want to go to voicemail. Then you hear that tag, you're it. So the whole idea is I need to get the person when I call one time. And that's what, when you integrate mobile devices now into the business world, that's where an advantage lies. That you can actually do that now.
One of the terms that you mentioned off camera, and I didn't want to act like I knew what you were talking about because I didn't. It's a term called reverse waterfall. Explain what you mean by that.
Yeah, it's getting pretty technical there. But, well, typically in the olden days, it was a waterfall. So a new solution would come into a business first, into a business setting, that they develop it for a business, and then it would become consumerized. We're seeing it reverse now. So now applications are going into the consumers and businesses are having to adapt to those consumer devices, like the mobile.
Like the mobile device, absolutely. Let's shift gears here a bit and talk about Mitel and the different solutions that you offer for this changing workforce.
Yeah, sure. So we call it dynamic extension. So the ability that I can have one phone number and I can be reached on any device that I choose. So, for example, here I have my mobile here.
Okay.
And here's a question for you: How many mailboxes do you have?
Maybe 4 or 5.
Right. So I have one. So that means if somebody calls my office, I get to pick up the voicemail here. If somebody calls my mobile, I pick up the voicemail here. And I can enable that myself using a Mitel solution. I can say I want my voicemails to go to my office phone or to my mobile phone, and I have that capability of choosing.
That's amazing.
So with that, we have this dynamic extension. What I'm going to show you here is I can use any phone here, and I'm going to call my office, or I'm actually going to have you call my office.
Okay, I'd love to call your office.
And
absolutely.
Then what's going to happen is they're going to pass you through to the office number, but you'll see that it'll ring here at the same time, and I'm clearly not in the office.
And you're clearly not in the office. All right, let's do it.
And let's try
So you can't escape. Wherever you are, somebody can get in touch.
Well, you always have the choice, right?
You have the choice of where you want them to get in touch with you.
Or if you want them to get in touch with you at all.
Sure.
So here we go.
Good afternoon, Mitel.
Hi, good afternoon. May I speak with Stephen Beamish, please?
Thank you. The business of helping
so there you go. Now you've called into the switchboard, and they're going to program in and get my extension. So right now, it's ringing there and it's ringing here at the same time. And I can choose to answer it or let it go to voicemail or whatever.
Well, you can answer it. It's my call.
So that's the beauty of it. Now, you think, I'll give you an example. We had a medical company that basically, they work like a Doctors Without Borders, and they would go down to remote areas in Mexico, and they had the old rotary phones on the wall. So his mobile wouldn't work, but he was able to program that phone as his extension. So if somebody would call into his office, it would ring down there.
Stephen, that really is amazing technology. It really is. And we always talk about this, how things like this, what Mitel is doing, really is making what we think is this really global, round world flat.
Exactly, because you can be anywhere. And I always like to say it takes geography out of the equation. So you can work for a company that's based in New York and live in Florida. It doesn't matter.
Amazing technology, Stephen. You always bring such great information, and thanks so much for stopping by and sharing this with us.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And if you want to learn more about some of the communication solutions mentioned here today, simply go to the website. It's mitel.com.